Welcome back, you all, to the David Cerebral Palsy and Fitness podcast. I'm here with my good friend, the author, and of course, I'd say motivator as well here, Lil Jimmy. Welcome, Lil Jimmy. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me, David. It's my pleasure and my honor to be on your podcast.
It is. It is. On the first episode, we talked about your book. You shared your life with me, which is incredible. You've always had that positivity and that faith ooze out of you. And we're back on today to talk about, updates and what you've been up to. So what's new, my friend?
I tell you, I live a prayerful life. I kind of, recollected in retirement and kind of quiet. I like it that way. And I just tried to promote my book as best as I can. The title being Thy Will Be Done, Enjoy the Thrill of True Joy and Happiness, which is a spiritual guide to helping people surrender to God's will. And when I have found in my life that when I surrender to God's will and trust in God's will above my own, that's when my life really begins to take on good ways.
Awesome. Has that been the only book you've been working on, or have you even thought about different
Yeah, that is
projects?
the only book that I haven't started. I've been working on a second edition, but I haven't got that second book published yet. So I'm just working on right now getting the first
Awesome.
book, become a good seller, and one thing at a time, I say.
Have you gotten any ideas for a title for the new book yet, or it's still up in the
It's
air?
gonna probably be the same title, second edition.
Okay, so it'll be kind of like a series, a continuation of what you're doing.
Yeah, and I'm gonna where I fell short on some areas, I'm gonna edit it a little bit. Like when speaking about the rosary and speaking about very little about the law of attraction, I didn't speak too much about that in the first book, but in the second edition, I plan on sharing a few words about that.
Awesome, awesome. And has it been pretty successful so far? You know, obviously the copies have been rolling out for you.
Well, I when someone asks me about the success of that book, I always note what Napoleon Hill states in his book Think and Grow Rich. He says all successful people start out with a slow start. So I've started out with a slow start, and we keep on plugging away, plugging away, plugging away. And I know that I'm a firm believer in having a goal card, writing down your goals on a card and looking at that card several times a day. And I do that. That's also something I picked up from Napoleon Hill and others, people like Bob Proctor and Earl Nightingale. I listen to the motivational speakers on personal development a lot, and I encourage all my friends to as well.
Yeah, I mean, we sure need a lot of motivation in this world, that's for sure. With the way things are going, they're going downhill here right now. Not looking too good for a lot of people.
Yeah, but for a lot of people, it is because it's what we have inside ourselves that is what
Right.
really matters, not what we see outside of ourselves.
Definitely. I can.
I'll go on. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're okay. I definitely agree with
I
what you're
like
saying.
what Neville Goddard says. He says that the outer mirrors the inner precisely.
That that's
Now,
right.
Neville Goddard was a guy who wrote a book, The Power of Awareness, which Wayne Dyer, used to quote him quite often. And that's one of the bases of Wayne Dyer's book, Wishes Fulfilled, which I do recommend to everyone who is tuning in. Have you read that book?
I have not read that book. I've never heard of it actually. It's the first time I've heard about it.
Wishes Fulfilled.
I'll have to check it out. Have you thought of, aside from podcasts, I think they have like conventions and stuff too where authors can go and promote their book that way, in person, like book
Yeah,
signings
I
and
have
things like
not
that.
been to a convention yet, but when I start bringing in capital, that's when I'll start. I'll be able to hire a publicist and a professional publicist because right now I do all the marketing myself.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard, isn't it?
Yeah, it is difficult, but all good things are difficult, I think,
Yes, they are at first, and if you keep
at
working on it,
first.
it'll get better. It'll get better, that's for sure. So tell me about what's new besides the book. How are you doing? How are you feeling?
I feel pretty good. I'm getting a little tendonitis in my fingers, but I started eating good meals lately, so that's gonna take care of that. They say when that happens, your fingers feel like they pop and snap, and it's close to arthritis, I think, but not exactly arthritis. But I've been eating a lot of strawberries, putting a lot of turmeric in my food. That's what is suggested, and just doing what the doctors tell me to do: exercise it, put ice on it, and things like that. And I'm a firm believer in the power of the subconscious mind.
Yeah, you gotta keep on moving and stay active.
Yeah, when I'm a firm believer in the power of the subconscious mind. There's a book out there by a Dr. James Murphy, "The Power of Your Subconscious Mind," that I want to relate to people to order that and get that book and read it and study it. And in that book, he states that whatever we impress upon our subconscious mind goes to work immediately and tries to finish and complete whatever we are saying. Like that's the power of affirmations right there. So I tell myself that every cell in my body is healing energy, and I am healing perfectly with every breath I take and every beat of my heart.
Do you have a favorite quote or affirmation that you always go by?
I do. I'll probably have to think about it a little bit. Every day, in every way, I am getting better and better. Every cell in my body is healing energy, and I am healing perfectly with every beat of my heart and with every breath I take. And I am now an international best-selling author. That is one of my goals, and that is what I repeat to myself every day. And in God's time, it'll happen. Not my time, but God's time, which is divine timing is perfect timing.
What's been your biggest audience so far as your book? Who's been really, getting into it? Like, what age
I,
group or
I would
demographic, do you know?
say the Catholic population because
Okay,
I am a Roman Catholic and I incorporate some of my Catholic ideas and Catholic prayers and Catholic beliefs into my book. It's not a book where I try to convert people. It's just a book where I try to speak truths
of course.
regarding character traits that people ought to adopt to have successful, joyful living.
Have there been more like, more males or females that are kind of into the book? You know, has there been like a younger crowd of people, older crowd of people?
David, I live near a Catholic university. There's the Franciscan University of Steubenville, and so I share a lot with the younger crowds, and they like it, both male and female.
Okay,
And I try to go to daily mass every day on a daily basis, and I always try to share with someone new about my book. And when they see what the title is and what it's when I tell them what it's about, they get pretty fired up about it and say that they're going to check it out. And a lot of times they come back and ask me to sign it, and I say, "Of course," So I always try to give a kind word to everyone.
I mean, that's the thing, the power of kindness goes a long way.
Yeah, there's a saying: if you have a choice between being right and being kind is really really important.
Yes, yes, there's very little time in this world for you to show hate to people or to anything or to anyone.
That's I tell you, David, it's like this: that the thoughts that we think, the words that we speak, they're all seeds, and when planted in the fertile soil of our conscious mind, they will produce its own fruit. So if we're thinking hatred, if we're thinking resentment, if we're thinking these negative thoughts, that's what's going to be coming into our life. And so we got to guard against all our thoughts and thinking and beliefs.
Trying to think here. So I know last time we talked about food and how much you loved meatball sandwiches. That's still on your menu?
It's not. Red meat is actually a lot of red meat is not good for you, so I took that off of my menu. I'm
Oh, I know.
I'm eating a lot of tuna fish
Okay, okay, I'll take that.
and other fish. Like I like salmon and I like a lot of chicken. And I
Hey,
eat
there's a
vegetable
lot.
soup every day. But the way I make it is so good. I just it's not like being on a diet. It's like really good.
You actually enjoy it. That's the thing.
Yeah, yeah. The trick with making good vegetable soup is you want to put in a cup of V8 juice
Oh,
in
yeah.
it, and then put about 6 cups of water in with that V8. Mix it up with vegetables and onions and all the other good stuff, and pour in a lot of turmeric
Really?
and chili powder.
And chili powder? Okay, interesting.
And the turmeric is supposed to reduce tendon inflammation, so
That's right.
that's why people should use a lot of turmeric in their foods.
I drink mine through a tea. I have tea with it.
That is, I've heard that. Yeah, I haven't done that yet, but I've heard that. One of my friends tells me a female lady. She said that Amazon has these pills, that you can, but there's for about 20 bucks, you buy about 60 or 90 of them. And she says she swears by the turmeric pills, does wonders for her. So
Yeah,
I'm glad we can mention this to some other people. They're probably not tuned in to hear about eating. So, but I hear something, sometimes my mind goes off and I start talking about whatever I hear about.
yeah, I mean, the key to those things is you always wanna do your research before you to kinda dive into it, to ask
Yeah.
people, read about it, what are the benefits, what are the risks, and if the benefits are more than the risk, then you could definitely try it, you know?
I got to tell you, I don't see too much of it on the top of your head, but on your beard, I do. Your silver hair is coming in very nicely.
I wish. I don't have much at all, but little by little as the time progresses, right?
Yeah, that's what Proverb says. Wealth quickly gotten dwindles away, but if amassed little by little, it grows.
That's right, that's right. It's almost like a plant, you know? You pour water into it, you give it sunlight, you give it, compassion, it'll get there.
My mother used to talk to her plants, and they would grow up beautifully for her.
That's awesome, they can, I guess, no, they can't really hear you like a human, but I guess they have certain things that they kind of react to through their growth and what you do with them.
Well, it's amazing that, of course, God created the plants and he created them with a lot of good antioxidants, a lot of good things that are good for our system. And so there's a saying that eat less food that is made in plants and more food that grows on plants.
Right. Have you heard of a TED Talk before?
Have I heard of what?
TED Talks? It's basically a, uh, a program where they have these really, really interesting people talking about different topics, whether in society or just daily life, and they have these really outstanding stories that you can listen to and watch as well.
Now, I have not heard of that
Yeah,
until you mention it.
it's called TED. I actually applied for it myself years ago, and I'm still waiting to hear a response back from them to see
Well,
if I
if
can
you
get.
could maybe send me a message about a Facebook message of what I should be looking for.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like it's something you'll enjoy because it's all kinds of different stories and just people speaking about different topics.
Can I show people a picture of my book?
Yeah, certainly.
If they're looking for it,
Take your
this is
time.
what it looks like without the hello part on it.
The hello. Hey, it's a book saying hello, right? The book talks.
Yeah,
It's saying
it's
hello.
because I this is my workbook for my second edition, and I got all kind of stuff on the cover and things.
So, are you able to share with us like bits and pieces of what the second edition will be about? Like, what's the update? What updates are there going to be in there? What do you focus on?
Well, one of the things that I'll focus on is a situation that I had when I had my massive stroke back in 2009 when I became disabled. I had a parish priest visiting me, and he told me, "Let's go to the Virgin Mary," and so we prayed the Memorare together, which I did not. Well, I wanted to include it in my first edition, but the publisher took it out, and so
No.
I'm going to make sure that the words of the Memorare are in it for the second edition.
Why did they take it out? Was it because it was too long or they didn't
I
want.
don't know why. I was in such a hurry to get my first book published that I just okayed it and said, "Okay, let's get this thing
Okay. So
done." And
it might have been because they assumed you said okay and they just took it out. Okay.
I think maybe they took it out because it was Christian Faith Publishing, and maybe they didn't like it because they were non-Catholic
I would
people.
have honestly, if I were you, I would have asked, like them, like, why would you take out something that's in my book, my faith, before you
Yeah,
take something out,
I
you
should
should
have,
ask.
but I didn't. I should have, but I didn't. So we'll work on the second edition on that one.
Yeah, I would definitely like before you like submit the second edition, make sure to ask them, hey,
I
you
mean,
can take
it's a
this out.
beautiful prayer. It's a beautiful prayer. Would you like to pray it?
Sure, I'd like to listen to it and pray with you.
Okay, amen.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah,
I think it should have been I think it should have been in that first edition. But,
I do
things
too.
happen.
But what are you going to do after the fact?
Yeah. I mean, you're adding more to new things, so that's a plus. More content for the next edition, right?
Yeah. In the second, one of the other things is I didn't mention much on the power of the Rosary and why the Rosary is so powerful. And on the second edition, I will mention that. The rosary goes back to historians place it at the beginning as 7th or 8th century Ireland. And so it's been a devotion that has stood the test of time. And one of the great promises of the rosary is that we will obtain everything we ask through the recitation of the rosary. Now, of course, what you ask cannot be selfish or sinful, and it's got to be in accordance with God's will, what God is wants for humanity and for you.
So let me see here. Your book. So what have you been enjoying nowadays besides writing your book? Have you gotten into any new hobbies you've been starting to enjoy? What have you gotten into?
The most enjoyable thing I pass my time with is a lot of church activities. I go to mass just on a daily basis whenever possible, except in the winter time. Winter time gets me kind of in staying indoors a little bit.
It's
I'm a
cold.
bit of a sissy when it comes to cold weather.
I'm the same way. I can't handle cold weather at all.
And one of the programs that my church had over around about 6 months ago was a program called Christ Life, and it was like really super to get a lot of the parishioners together all at one time, and watch video clips of motivational stories of other people of how they turn to Christ and how great that is when they do.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean it's
I'm
always
very grateful that
wonderful to
I was raised, as a Catholic Christian because I just I kind of consider that for the first years of Christianity there was only one Christian denomination, and that is the Catholic religion. And I try not to argue about who's right or who's wrong and what. I I give to people respect that is due to them, whatever they believe, whether they're Christian or Jewish or Muslim or Hindu or what. All religions teach truth, and I try to learn from everybody who crosses my path.
I have a friend of mine who I feel can really connect with you. He's got a faith-based podcast, and he's a good friend of mine, and I was just on it, sharing my testimony on his podcast, and if you'd like, I can definitely connect you with him to share yours and share your book. He'd be very, interested to have you.
I'd be very grateful if you did.
Yeah, he's been a friend of mine for years, but he's wonderful, and I feel like you 2 can connect and really talk and have a good time there as well.
Well, I have a saying. Any friend of David Figueroa's is a friend of mine.
Hey, I
Did I pronounce you right?
You did actually, because a lot of people tend to mess it up, so you're one of the very few that pronounces it
Yeah,
correctly.
I'm familiar with that. How people can mess up a name.
That's
I get
right.
a lot. I get like Kuzakowskis. I get all kind of. I'll get all.
You said that your last name was, Polish, right?
It is Polish,
Oh,
yes.
yeah, that's right, you mentioned it on the first episode, I remember when we spoke. Yeah, you said it was Polish.
And you are from Puerto Rico.
Yes. Yes.
I have great admiration for you, David, that you could come from Puerto Rico to America and do so well as you done.
Yeah, actually, Rico's a commonwealth of the US. They're not a state, but they're a commonwealth. So we are a part of the US. It's just we're not like a state. We're not a state. There's been a lot of, for years, it's been going back and forth where they want Puerto Rico to be a state, but, Puerto Rico just refuses statehood because there's a lot of factors behind
And
it.
I remember from my younger days a lot of pretty girls too.
Right? They're everywhere, right?
Pretty women are everywhere, everywhere you go. I was in
Yes.
South Korea. I was stationed in South Korea when I was in the Air Force. Pretty girls there. I was stationed in Florida. Pretty girls there. I come home. Pretty girls here. But now I'm so old that pretty girls don't really matter to me anymore. It's what I mean. What matters to me is my relationship with God,
That's right. That's right. And
where my soul is going to be for eternity. That is what's really important.
that is right, my friend. So yeah, it's always so wonderful to catch up with you. You're always such a wonderful person. Yeah, you have to update me on your book and on your adventures once it's published, you know, in a future episode.
Yeah, we'll have to try to keep in contact more frequently on Facebook.
For sure, yeah, and anytime. And you you told me you're in, is it up north?
Yeah, Ohio.
Ohio, that's what it was.
That's
Yeah, I
that's
remember
about the
now.
that's in the Midwest, about the center of Ohio.
Yeah, I know it's probably cold up there right now, right?
Well, actually, it's starting. It's 70 degrees out today, but it's been like 50, 40, 30, 20s. In February, it's like gets down to about zero, and that's not real good.
A little bit about everything, right?
Yeah, so maybe in the future we can do another podcast together.
Yeah, always, always, bud. You know, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. You have this positive aura for a lot of people.
Well, I heard a long time ago that success is 5% strategy and 95% mindset. And I come to believe that, and I try to have a positive thinking attitude.
Always, always. I agree. I agree, my friend. Well, thanks so much for being on, buddy. And you know, of course, if you guys want to listen to this podcast here, you guys can go on Spotify. You guys can go on YouTube, and any other major podcasts out there. I will add hopefully the book link onto this episode so that way people can come on to Amazon and check out the book and eventually, you know, give you some sales while we're at it.
Now, between me and you, I'm not sure if this meeting was real good for a podcast to contribute to a podcast or not. So that's why I'd like maybe another chance and do another podcast maybe in a month or so,
Yeah, of course, man.
if you have time.
Yeah, of course. We'll plan it out and do it in a month or so.
That would be super. Always a pleasure to hear from you, David.
Definitely. Always, always, buddy. You take care of yourself, okay?
You too. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Have a good one.
God bless you.
God bless you too. Take care.
I'm gonna go start finish my fixing my dinner or my lunch.
Sounds good. Enjoy yourself.
I give you one guess what I'm having.
Vegetable soup.
Vegetable soup. That is correct.
That's
Well, may
right.
God bless you. May God bless you and be with you always.
You as well. And I'll definitely be connecting with my friends soon, okay?
Thank you. God bless.
You as well. Thank you.
And I know that